Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Danny and this is Project Fern. In today's video we're going to be going through this big stack of service history on the Peugeot Partner Escapade. It's going to be a pretty geeky video going through every service bill we've got, MOT, whatever invoice came with the car. It's pretty much got a full service history, so have a guess how much the previous owners have spent on this car in the ownership that they've had it. Two previous owners in the same family. Put it in the comment section now, let me know how much you think they've spent and you can find out at the end of the video. I've been through every single receipt and put them in order like I explained in the other video. Bit of a geeky one this. I've written down everything that this car's had spent on it. So we'll start off with the Peugeot, the first owner. So on the 27th of the 7th 2007, the car had done 11,777 miles and this was at a Peugeot main dealer. They had a 12,000 mile service including pollen filter, and they also had a near side front wheel arch clip. They do pop out and sometimes they can catch on the wheel or flutter in the wind. I think every Berlingo or Partner I've had they've popped out, but they cost pence to replace them. I've no doubt the Peugeot dealership charged them a fortune to put a new clip in. But for that 12,000 mile service including the pollen filter and the near side front wheel arch clip, it was £135. So as we go through this video you'll see how things have increased so much in time. 2007, what's that? That's like 18 years ago or something. So it is a long time really. MOTs don't seem to have gone up that much really, which you'll see as we go through it. On the 3rd of the 5th 2008, 23,899 miles, again at a Peugeot main dealer. They've had the 24,000 mile service done including pollen filter again, and they've swapped the front tyres to the rear. That was £146.62. On the 18th of the 9th 2009, at 35,000 miles, well 35,698 miles, again at a Peugeot main dealer. They had a 36,000 mile service including air, fuel and pollen filter. They've had a brake fluid change and fit and balance one new tyre. That was £383.23. On the 23rd of the 10th 2010, at 39,074 miles, at Peugeot main dealer again, they had an MOT and that was £39.50. On the 7th of the 12th 2010, so the same year, at 47,747 miles, it's at Peugeot main dealer and it's had a 48,000 mile service including pollen filter. I didn't realise they changed them that often. £170.92 that cost. Then on the 22nd of the 2nd 2011, at 49,287 miles, Peugeot main dealer again, carry out MOT, and it says gear selector is stiff, so they've lubricated it, and that was £54.62. On the 3rd of the 3rd 2012, at 55,446 miles, Peugeot main dealer again. They've had carry out MOT, that was £39.50 again. On the 1st of the 3rd 2013, 59,055 miles, Peugeot main dealer again, carry out 60,000 miles service including pollen filter, replace near side wiper blade, reclip near side washer jet. That was £261.69. So that's all the history from the first owner of the family, and then they must have sold it to another person in their family, switched the owners. It's had two previous owners, this car. So on to the second owner now. You'll be surprised how many near side front lower arms these have. They must have been smashing it up them curbs. So on the 12th of the 11th 2014, it had at 68,540 miles, it had an oil and filter change. They changed the injector seals and they've also cleaned the injectors. So it's quite a common fault. I did a video replacing them on the first Berlingo I had, the red one. It can be hit and miss really. It's whether you can get your injectors out or not. There are specialist companies that just literally come and take injectors out. That's how hard they can be to get out sometimes. You can break them trying to get them out. I was lucky with the red one because they came out easily, and it's nice to know that, well, it's 11 years ago, but it had the injector seals done. I'll probably still end up doing them again because I've got a spare kit in the workshop for them. Just fingers crossed them injectors come out, but they got charged £200 for that, which I didn't think was too bad. So on the 13th of the 3rd, 2015, at 70,841 miles, it was carry out MOT, front disc and pads, replace near side rear brake light. That was £193.18. On the 2nd of the 11th, 2015, at 75,087 miles, they had an oil and filter change and they replaced the leak off injector seals. When you buy a kit usually to do the injector seals, they come with the little green rubber O-rings that are for the leak off pipe. So I'm not sure why they didn't replace that when they took them off anyway, because you take them off, so you may as well, you take the leak off pipes off, so you may as well replace the little seals while they're out. It only takes 2 seconds. But that was £78.68. On the 11th of the 3rd, 2016, 77,242 miles. They had carry out MOT and replaced near side front wheel bearing. That was £215. On the 14th of the 3rd, 2017, it had a timing belt kit, water pump, antifreeze, oil and filter, fuel filter, air filter, drive belt, carry out MOT, near side front lower arm. So that's the first one. That was £697.88. On the 5th of the 5th, 2017, no mileage on the receipt. It says fit and program EGR valve, and it also has a note saying not working. So I don't know if the owner put that on. That was £301.42. So I've scanned the codes for this car and the EGR valve does seem to be working. I'm not saying it's working to its full potential and it might not still be causing an error, but it does seem to be, yeah, it does seem to be working, but I'm going to swap that out anyway in the next video. On the 17th of the 6th, 2017, at 82,000 miles, it's had a new battery and that was £89.99. On the 25th of the 5th, 2017, it's had the code read and it's brought up faults with the EGR valve. There's no price next to that or anything, so it would have been like 50 quid. On the 13th of the 3rd, 2018, carry out MOT, it's had wipers, a bulb and repair washer pipe. That was £119.26. On the 12th of the 3rd, 2019, we've got a carry out MOT, oil and filter, replace the horn, and offside front wheel bearing. That was £295.77. On the 11th of the 3rd, 2020, carry out MOT, 2 front indicator bulbs. That's £62. So the indicator bulbs on these cars, they're orange and it does flake off over time. And the whiter they get, the more chance it's got to fail an MOT on them. I think it usually says like orange bulbs showing too much white or not orange enough. I can't remember what the actual term is, MOT, but they usually knock them for an advisory at first, and then when they get to a point where they've flaked off fully, they fail them on them. On the 18th of the 11th, 2020, it's had oil and filter, air filter, fuel filter, front discs and pads, 2 front coil springs, 2 front spring mounts, and it's had a near side front wheel bearing. That was £824.78. On the 9th of the 3rd, 2021, it's got carry out MOT and its second near side front lower arm, and that was £191.36. On the 15th of the 3rd, 2022, it's got carry out MOT, which is now £50. We then go a year exact to the date forward, 15th of the 3rd, 2023, carry out MOT, near side front lower arm and a bulb, and that was £223.76. It's a lot of money to get these lower arms replaced. Like that MOT is 50 quid, so that leaves 170. Yeah, it's a lot of money that for a lower arm and a bulb. On the 21st of the 9th, 2023, it's done 121,532 miles now. We've got oil and filter, air filter, fuel filter, play in near side lower ball joint. So that's £250.50. There's also a note on the invoice saying engine management light illuminated. So then on the 20th of the 11th, 2023, at 122,020 miles, she's had a near side lower arm fitted and they've charged her £223.20. That lower arm cannot be more than like 40, 50 quid. That's mental money, that, for a lower arm. On the 4th of the 3rd, 2024, at 123,358 miles, we've got check over vehicle, carry out MOT, and that was £110. Last entry I've got for all the history is 24th of the 5th, 2024, 124,531 miles. They've had a new starter motor and 2 new drop links, and that was £475.20. So the grand total for everything that's been spent over them 2 owners is £5,833.06, which over 20 years, it's about £250 a year maintenance. I think that's an absolute bargain. Obviously I have to spend a bit of money on the car, but I can do all the work myself, so I'm not too fussed about that. The reason I've gone through all this today, I was going to save it for a later video, is the fact that I've hurt my back and I can't work on the car. I'm really eager to get this engine management light sorted. I am going to replace the EGR valve. I forgot to mention as well that this car came with 3 keys. I've got a remote key, a Peugeot key, and it looks like they've had one made by the AA. I didn't know they came out and did keys. But that's just a quick fill video for you today. Just going through the service history on the vehicle. Hope you're going to stick around for the next videos. Really over the moon with the views that this car's been getting. Thank you very much for everyone who comments, likes and subscribes and stuff. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.